But some of us are going to go to DuPont Circle. There's going to be a panel over there. And so if you're available, you can make your way over there. And there's going to be a panel of speakers and people that have been to Standing Rock making presentations there. So welcome everyone. Welcome. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'd like to brag. Yeah, just teasing. Joking. My name is Raymond Kingfisher. The one that flies out, which is my Cheyenne name. Ivavit Nahista. I come from before the history books were written. Mahianavit Gisnapshim.
This guy.
Holy Bird, also known as Kingfisher, was my grandfather. Achista, Cheyenne. I want to tell you about a major action that took place back in 1972. Some of you might be familiar with the Trail of Broken Treaties. Maybe some of you were here. This is an action that we took with the American Indian Movement. The caravan that started from Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle, and all met in Minneapolis. First started out with a 10-point proposition paper. If any of you got like Chrome or anything, go ahead and Google Trail of Broken Treaties and just follow along. Just kidding. Yeah, but the trail converged over in Minneapolis for a 2-day conference, and the 10-point proposition paper turned into a 20-point proposition paper after other tribes were bringing up their rights violations. And so from there we traveled on to Chicago to, there used to be an Indian Center right there on the shore, Lake Shore Drive, an abandoned naval station that the American Indian Movement took over. We had a big old powwow over there. On our way to Cleveland, Cleveland Indian Center fed us, and then we traveled down and we got here early in the morning, and there was an auditorium. If you go down here, down the street here, there's a South Annex now is what they call it, to the Department of the Interior. At one time was the Bureau of Indian Affairs building. I was 15 years old, and my brother picked me up with a caravan coming out of Seattle, came to Busby School. Busby Boarding School was a Bureau of Indian Affairs school. And he asked permission from my mom if I could go. They're going to take care of me. So my brother Colin Kingfisher was traveling with Russell Means, Dennis Banks, Carter Camp, the Belcourt brothers, Robert Free. Floyd Westerman was performing songs and recruiting people to get on this bus that they had rented. And so about 25 of us students all dropped out of school right there and jumped on the bus and jumped in, and then we stopped at St. Laubry Mission School, which was 40 miles down the road, and we picked up another batch of renegades over there, and anti-Catholics, and so they jumped in. So there was about 12 more of them, and so we made our way to Rapid City, and then we made it to DC in the morning. When we got here, the people that were going in front of us, they told us that some of the churches had opened up and the YMCA opened up for us to stay, but when they went to check the churches, there was like rats and stuff, just running around, and they didn't want our children and our elders in there. So there was a big meeting in the auditorium, all kinds of press, Back then it was just the major presses, NBC, CBS, they didn't even have Fox yet, and BBC, Canadian stations like that. And then Russell asked to clear out the building. So all you white people got to get out right now, all you guys with cameras outside, And then my one of my relatives, Raymond Spain, who was part of the Alcatraz takeover. He was there sitting there with two white guys next to him, and Russell said, "Who's those two white guys?" Raymond said, "That's our lawyers." "Oh, okay, you guys can stay then." And so after a while, they said, they don't have accommodations for us, so we're going to occupy this building. And it was like 6 days before the election. Nixon was the president then. He was running for re-election that term there. And so we had him because he couldn't do nothing to us, you know. We took the building over, you know, we barricaded those folding chairs, you know, there's like about 8 of them. They all hooked together. You can't take them apart, you know. So we stacked them all up on both sides of the door. And 40 of the warriors ran downstairs, and there was a security guard down there, and we had a clash with them, and they took 3 of ours, and the U.S. Marshals were coming in behind them, and then we captured one of them, and the clash went on, and then pretty soon they took 3 of our warriors to jail, but that one cop, he was security, he had a uniform on, had a hat and shirt, pants and everything. He was running around that building trying to get out, but that building is pretty unique. If you ever get a chance to go down and see it, there's a moat around the outside of it, shaped like an E. So when we barricaded it, it's like they can't even come in after us. And inside, if you need to go inside the building, there's doors that lock from the inside that are brass. They're decorative, but they're real useful. And you know, so we used them, locked out everybody. And so he couldn't even get out. And he was running around all over through that building, and all these women and all these different people that were still in the building were hit him and stuff. And next thing you know, he was getting all like tattered up. Pretty soon he came running by again. He didn't have his hat on. And next time he came by, he didn't have no shirt on. And next time you know, he didn't have no shoes on. Pretty soon he was running around in just his chonies. Next thing you know, he's getting all scratched up and everything. People were clawing at him, and he kept running around all over. And pretty soon they finally kicked him out the door, and he went running out the door. And here, next thing you know, all the brothers, one of them had his hat on, one of them had his shirt on, another guy had shiny shoes, another guy had his pants on, was all wearing them proudly. And anyway, so we occupied that building for 6 days, and they had a cafeteria downstairs. First day was feast day. We really ate good about 3 times a day, even had midnight snacks and everything. Then after that, the struggle started right there. Started eating up all the food. There was too many of us in there. Didn't plan on it, you know. But the second day, you know, started rationing food. But the occupation was worldwide news then, you know, that the American Indian movement had taken over that building. We draped a big old flag outside there. Somebody made a flag that said the American Indian Embassy on it. Hung it out in the window. So I changed the name of it for 6 days. You know. But it was quite an experience back then, you know, being as young as I was. And it makes me proud to see these younger people that are involved, you know, to be able to witness what's going on here today. So back then in the 70s, there was a lot of riots going on. There was a lot of disruption in the whole nation, you know, and people were getting killed for their beliefs, and our people were the same way. American Indian Movement, there was about 30 of them that took an oath to die, and they were on the 3rd floor. No one could go up there because they were constantly praying, because that's what they believed in. We had no arms either. None of us had any weapons in there, but we were totally prepared to go to jail, and some of them were prepared to die. And they made that, you know, commitment, and we stayed there all that time. And pretty soon, when people finally found out that we were running out of food, they started making donations. College kids from Georgetown and I believe Columbia University, universities around here, they started supporting us. They started bringing food to the front of that building, and our security force was outside the front. And we would bring our food in like that, take it downstairs. The cooks would cook it up for us, and we were down to 2 meals a day. And, but as it went on, we had to end up having to leave the building and go up to the YMCA and eat after you pulled your shift, you know, your 12-hour shift, then you got to eat, you know. So it was pretty well regulated, you know. We had our rules and stuff and took care of our own, you know, back then. But after the election, when Nixon was reelected, that's when they told us that, you know, we need to leave the building or they were going to take it by force. And all of us were going to go to prison, and, you know, they're making threats against us. And plus, we were tired anyway and hungry, so we said, okay, give us some gas money, we're out of here. But we made a statement, you know. We had Black Panthers inside the building with us. We had 2 Black Panthers that were there, and if it went down, all they had to do was make one phone call, and there was 500 Black Panthers that were ready to come and help us, you know. If they were going to attack us, they were going to attack from the rear. And then so we had people that were inside the building that were training us, that were trained in civil disobedience. They were showing us how to tie our bandanas on, make sure you had water on you to keep it moist, and all these different tactics that they used, you know. We were in training all the time inside there, and even had different little, you know, meetings going on with each other. We were organized too back then, you know, and we need to continue that, you know, that way. We prayed all the time too. You know, the different elders took it upon themselves and were asked at different times to go into prayer, and that's what we strongly believe in. You know, all our Native nations, you know, we truly believe in prayer, and there was a point when we had to pray all the time for our survival. We thank our ancestors for teaching us that way. And I thank you for your kind attention, you know. So if you ever get a chance, look it up on your Chrome or whatever, Google, to Trail of Broken Treaties. And so I'm going to end right there. Thank you all for being here, supporting the Native Nations Rise March and Camp here. I love all of you guys. You're all in my prayers. Thank you very much. And feel free to come up and talk anytime.